Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome all to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 24, verse number 334. We'll continue reading from Ukam Karoti Vachalam Pankum Langhaite Girim Yat Kripa Tamam Vande Shri Guru Deendayanam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hariyam Tatsat. Verse 334. Pancha Shodasha Panchashat Upchare Archan Panchakal Puja Arati Krishnera Bhojan Shayan. Also describe deity worship wherein one should offer food to Krishna at least 5 times daily and in due time place him on a bed. You should also describe the process for offering arati and the worship of the Lord according to the list of 5, 16 or 50 ingredients. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The 5 ingredients for deity worship are very good scents, very good flowers, incense, a lamp, something edible. As for Shodashupchar, the 16 ingredients should be providing a sitting place, asan, ask Krishna to sit down, offer arghya, offer water to wash the legs, wash the mouth, offer madhupark, offer water for washing the mouth, bathe the Lord, offer garments, decorate the Lord's body with ornaments, offer sweet scents, offer flowers with good fragrance like the rose or champak, offer incense, offer lamp, give good food and offer prayers. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, 11th Vilas, verses 127 to 140, there is a vivid description of what is required in deity worship. There are 64 items mentioned in the temple. Worship should be so gorgeous that all the 64 items should be available for the satisfaction of the personality of Godhead. Sometimes it is impossible to get all 64 items, therefore we recommend that at least on the first day of installation, all 64 items should be available. When the Lord is established, worship with all 64 items should continue as far as possible. The 64 items are as follows. There must be a big bell hanging in front of the temple room so that whoever comes into the room can ring the bell. This item is called Prabodhan, or offering oneself submissively to the Lord. This is the first item. The visitor must chant Jai Shri Radha Govinda or Jai Shri Radha Madhav when he rings the bell. In either case, the word Jai must be uttered. One should immediately offer obeisances to the Lord, falling down like a stick. There must be regular Mangal Arati in the temple during the early morning, an hour and a half before the sunrise. There must be an asan, a sitting place before the altar. This asan is for the spiritual master. The disciple brings everything before the spiritual master, and the spiritual master offers everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After Mangalarti, the deity is supposed to wash his teeth by using a twig. Therefore, a twig must be offered. Water must be offered for washing the deity's feet. Arghya should be offered. Water for Achaman should be offered. Madhupark, a small bowl containing madhu, honey, a little ghee, a little water, a little sugar, yogurt and milk should be offered. This is called Madhupark Achaman. One should place wooden slippers before the Lord. One should massage the body of the Lord. One should massage the body of the Lord with oil with a soft wet sponge. One should remove all the oil smeared over the Lord's body. One should bathe the Lord with water in which nicely scented flowers have been soaked for some time. After bathing the body of the Lord with water, one should bathe him in milk. Then one should bathe him with the yogurt. Then one should bathe him with the ghee. Then one should bathe him with the honey. Then one should bathe him with the water in which sugar has been dissolved. Then one should wash the deity with water and chant this mantra: Chintamani Prakar Sadmasu Kalpavriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhir Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasrashata Sambrana Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. One should dry the entire body of the Lord with a towel. A new dress should be put on Lord's body. A sacred thread must be placed on his body. Water should be offered for cleansing mouth. Achaman, nicely scented oils like liquid sandalwood pulp should be smeared all over the Lord's body. All kinds of ornaments and crown should be placed on his body. Then one should offer flower garlands and decorative flowers. One should burn incense. Lamps should be offered. Precautions must always be taken so that the demons and atheists cannot harm the body of the Lord. Food offerings should be placed before the Lord. Spices for chewing should also be offered. Betel nuts should be offered. At the proper time there should be arrangements so that the Lord may take rest in the bed. The Lord's hair should be combed and decorated. First-class garments should be offered. First-class helmet should be offered. The garments should be scented. There should be costume, jewels, and other ornaments offered. A variety of flowers should be offered. Another Mangal Arati should be offered. A mirror should be offered. The Lord should be carried on a nice palanquin to the altar. The Lord should be seated on the throne. Again, water should be given to the washing of his feet. 27. One should offer different types of prayers and hymns. The Hare Krishna mantra and approved song. No, I think I missed these. The Lord should be fanned with the chamar fan and the umbrella should be placed over his head. The Hare Krishna mantra and approved songs should be sung. Musical instruments should be played. One should dance before the deity. One should circumambulate the deity. One should again offer obeisances. One should offer different types of prayers and hymns at the Lord's lotus feet. One should touch the lotus feet of the Lord with one's head. This may not be possible for everyone, but at least the pujari should do this. The flowers offered on the previous day should touch one's head. One should take the remnants of Lord's food. One should take the remnants of the Lord's food. One should sit before the Lord and think he is massaging Lord's legs. One should decorate the Lord with beds and flowers before the Lord takes the test. As far as eatables, no, Aarti should be offered. One should take the deity to his bed. One should one should decorate the Lord's bed. I think I missed this one also. One should sit before the Lord and think that he is massaging the Lord's leg. One should decorate the Lord's bed with flowers before the Lord takes his rest. One should offer one's hand to the Lord. One should take the deity to his bed. One should wash the feet of the Lord and then sit him on the bed. One should place the Lord on the bed and then massage his feet. Aarti should be offered to the deities 5 times. Early in the morning, before sunrise, later in the morning, at noon, evening and night. This means that there should be worship and change of dress and flowers. As far as the eatables are concerned, all items should be first-class preparations. There should be a first-class rice, dal, right. One should place the Lord on the bed and massage his feet. Aarti should be offered to the deities 5 times. Said that already. Early in the morning, before sunrise, late in the morning, at noon, and in the evening and at night. This means that there should be worship and change of dress and flowers. As far as possible, eatables are concerned, all items should be first-class preparations. There should be first-class rice, dal, fruit, sweet rice, vegetables, and variety of foods to be sucked, drunk, and chewed. All the eatables offered to the deities should be extraordinarily excellent. In Europe and America, there is presently no monetary scarcity. People are not poor, but if they follow these principles, deities should be extraordinarily excellent. All the eatables offered to the deity should be extraordinarily excellent. In Europe and America, there is presently no monetary scarcity. People are not poor, and if they follow these principles of deity worship, then they will advance in spiritual life. as far as so if people in the West, if they follow these principles of deity worship, they will advance in spiritual life. Prabhupada is saying, as far as the deities in the bed is concerned, if the deity is large and heavy, it is not possible to move him daily. It is better that a small deity, which is also worshipable, be taken to the bed. The mantra should be chanted, Agacha Shayan Sthanam, Priyabhi Sah Keshava. O Keshav, kindly come to your bed along with the Srimati Radharani. This is from Hari Bhakti Vilas 11.40. The deity should be placed in bed with Srimati Radharani, and this should be indicated by bringing the wood slippers from the altar to the bedside. When the deity is laid down, his legs should be massaged before laying the deity down. A pot of milk and sugar should be offered to him. After taking this thick milk, the deity should lie down and should be offered betel, nuts and spices to chew. Verse 335. Shrimurti Lakshana Ar Shalagram Lakshana Krishna Kshetra Yatra Krishna Murti Darshan. The characteristics of the deity should be discussed as well as the characteristics of Shalagram Shila. You should also discuss visiting the deities in the temple and touring holy places like Vrindavan, Mayapur and Dwarka. Mathura and Dwarka, not Mayapur. Verse 336. Nama Mahima Nama Aparad Dure Varjana Vaishnav Lakshan Seva Parad Khandana. You should glorify the holy name and explain that one must carefully give up offenses when chanting the holy name. You should also describe the symptoms of a Vaishnav and explain that one must give up or nullify all kinds of swa aparadha. Okay. You should also describe the symptoms of Vaishnav and explain that one must give up or nullify all kinds of seva aparadha, offenses in the deity worship. Purport. The devotee should always be very careful not to commit the 10 offenses when chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. If a devotee very strictly follows these methods of deity worship, he will naturally and quickly become a pure Vaishnav. A pure Vaishnav has unflinching faith in the Lord and he does not deviate at all. He is always engaged in perfect deity worship. One should also note that the specific offense against deity worship, these are mentioned in Shaskanda Puran Avantikunda, spoken by Vyasadeva himself. Right. A pure Vaishnav has unflinching faith in Lord and he does not deviate at all. He is always engaged in perfect deity worship. One should also note that the specific offenses against deity worship, these are mentioned in Skanda Puran, Avanti Khand, spoken by Vyasadeva himself. One should liquidate all kinds of offenses. The Shalagram Shila should be worshipped with Tulsi where the sufficient quantity of Tulsi leaves are available. Worship of Shalagram Shila should be introduced to all ISKCON temples. Shalagram Shila is the form of the Lord's mercy. To worship the deity with the 64 items can be a difficult job, but the Lord has become so small that anyone in any temple can carefully handle deity worship and simply by performing the same activities with the Shalagram Shila. There are 32 offenses to the deity that should be avoided. One should not enter the temple in a vehicle. Shoes and slippers should be moved before entering the temple. Then they should offer obeisances as soon as he sees the deity. One should enter the temple after taking a bath. In other words, one should be very clean. Fourth, one should not offer obeisance with the Lord with one hand. One should not circumambulate demigods before the deities. Number 6, one should not spread his legs before the deities. 7, one should not One should enter the temple after taking bath. In the words, one should be very clean. One should not offer obeisances to the Lord with one hand. One should not circumambulate demigods before the deities. One should not spread his legs before the deities. One should not sit down before the deity with his legs crossed. Nor should they touch one legs with his hands. One should not lie down before the deity. One should not eat before the deity. One should not speak lies before the deity. One should not speak very loudly before the deity. One should not talk nonsense before the deity. One should not cry before the deity. One should not deal with others before the deity. One should not use utter harsh words before the deity. One should not cover himself with a blanket. One should not ask obviously of others before the deity. One should not praise the others before deity. One should not use slang before the deity. One should not pass air before the deity. One should not neglect the 64 items of the deity worship. And one should not talk enviously. No, before that is one should not cover himself with a blanket. One should not talk enviously of others before the deity. Number 18, one should not praise the deity offers before using the harsh words. One should not utter harsh words before the deity. One should not cover himself with a blanket. One should not talk enviously of others before the deity. One should not praise the others before deity. One should not use slang before the deity. One should not pass the air before the deity. One should not pass air before the deity. One should not neglect the 64 items of deity worship. One should not eat anything not offered to the deity. 21, one should not neglect offering seasonal fruits as soon as they're available. Number 24, one should always offer fresh, untouched fruit to the deity. One should not sit with his back toward the deity. Number 26 is one should not sit with his back toward the deity. One should not offer obeisances to others before the deity. One should not sit near the deity without taking the spiritual master's permission. One should not be proud to hear himself praised before So one should not blaspheme. One should not be proud to himself praise before the deity. One should not sit near the deity without taking the spiritual master's permission. One should not blaspheme the demigods. One should not be unkind to others before the deities. One should observe festivals in Mayapur. One should not fight or quarrel. So last one is one should observe all the festivals in the temple, and 32nd is one should not fight or quarrel before the deity. And before that was also the one should not be unkind to others before the deity. Verse 337. शंख जल गंध पुष्प धूपादि लक्षण जप स्तुति परिक्रमा dandavat vandana. The items of worship such as water, conch shell, flowers, incense and lamp should be described. You also mention chanting glories, offering prayers, brahmas, circumambulating and offering obeisances. All these should be very carefully described. All these are manifested in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, the 8th Vishnu of the right. So these are all from Hari Bhakti Vilas. 8th Vilas of the book should be consulted as far as possible. So this verse tells us that as the items of worship as water, conch shell, flowers, incense, lamp should be offered, described and then offered. You should also about the soft chanting and circumambulating the temple and so on. Verse 338, Puraschara Vidhi Krishna Prasad Bhojan Anivedita Tyag Vaishnav Namadhi Varjana. Other items you should describe are the methods of performing Puruscharana, taking Krishna Prasad, giving a Other items you should describe are the method of performing Puruscharana, taking Purascharana, taking Krishna Prasadam, giving up unoffered food and not blaspheming the devotees. Purport regarding the Vaishnav Ninda, CC Madhya Lila, chapter 15, verse 261. Verse 339, Sadhu Lakshana Sadhu Sangha Sadhu Sevana Asat Sangha Tyaga Shri Bhagavat Shravana. You should describe the symptoms of a devotee, how to associate with devotees, how to satisfy a devotee by rendering service, and how to give up the association of non-devotees. You should also explain the value of regularly hearing the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Verse 240, Dina Kritya, Paksha Kritya, Ekadashi, Adi Vivarana, Nash Kritya, Janmastamyadi Vidhi Vicharana. You should describe the ritualistic duties to be performed every day, and you should also describe the fortnightly duties, especially how the bus You should describe the ritualistic duties to be performed every day, and you should also describe the fortnightly duties, especially how to observe the fortnightly Ekadashi fast. You should also describe the duties to be observed every month, and you should especially describe the observance of ceremonies like Janmashtami, Ramanavami, and Narsingh Chaturdashi. Verse 241, Ekadashi, Janmashtami, Vaman Dvadashi, Shri Ramanavami, Ar Nrsimha Chaturdashi. Ekadashi, Janmashtami, Vaman Dvadashi, Ramanavami, and Nrsimha Chaturdashi, all should be described. Verse 342, Ei Sabe Vidha Tyag Avidha Karana Ei Sabe Vidha Tyaga Avidha Karana Akarane Dosha Kaile Bhaktira Lambhana. You should recommend the avoidance of mixed Ekadashi and performance of pure Ekadashi. You should also describe the fault in not observing Dash Ekadashi. One should be very careful as far as these items are concerned. If one is not cruel, one will be negligent in executing the devotional service. Verse 343, Sarvatra Pramana Dibe Purana Vachana Shri Murti Vishnu Mandir Karana Lakshana. Whatever you say about Vaishnava behavior, the establishment of Vaishnava temples and deities and everything else should be supported by evidence from the Purans. Verse 344, Samanya Sad Achar Ar Vaishnav Achar Kartavya Akartavya Sabas Smarta Vyavhar. You should give general and specific descriptions of the behavior and activities of a Vaishnava. You should outline things that are to be done and things that are not to be done. All this should be described as regulations and etiquette. Verse 345, Ei Sankshepe Sutra Kailun Digdarshana Yabe Tumi Likhiba Krishna Karabe Sfurana. I have thus given a synopsis of the Vaishnava regulative principles. I have given this in brief just to give you a little direction. When you write on this subject, Krishna will help you by spiritually awakening you. Purport, One cannot write on spiritual matters without being blessed by Krishna and the disciplic succession of gurus. The blessings of the authorities are one's power of attorney. One should not try to write anything about Vaishnava behavior and activities without being authorized by superior authorities. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 4, verse number 2. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshyo viduh. Verse 346. Eta kahilu prabhura sanatane prasad yahara shravane chittera khande avasad. Thus I have narrated Lord Chaitanya's mercy upon Sanatan Goswami. When one hears these topics, one's heart will be cleansed of all contamination. Verse 347. Nij granthe karanapura vistar kariya sanatane prabhura prasad rakhiyache likhiya. The authorized poet Kavi Karanpur has written a book named Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak. This book tells how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Sanatan Goswami with his specific mercy. Verse 348. Gaurendrasya sabha vibhushana manis tyaktva ya riddham shriyam Rupa syagraja esha eva tarunim vairagya lakshmin dadhe antar bhakti rasena purn hridayo bhaiye vadhutar kritihi shaivaleh pihitam maha sara eva priti pradastad vidam. Srila Sanatan Goswami, the elder brother of Srila Rupa Goswami, was a most important minister in the government of Hussain Shah, the ruler of Bengal, and he was considered a most brilliant gem in that assembly. He possessed all the opulences of the royal position, but he gave up everything just to accept the youthful goddess of renunciation. Although he externally appeared to be a mendicant who had renounced everything, he was filled with the pleasure of devotional service within his heart. Thus he can be compared to a deep lake covered with moss. He was the object of pleasure for the devotees who knew the science of devotional service. Purport: this and the following two verses are from Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak 9.34, 35 and 38. Verse 349. Tam sanatanam upagatam akshanor drishta matram ati matra dayar driha alinga parigayata darbhayam sanukampam atah champak gaurah. As soon as Sanatan Goswami arrived in front of Lord Chaitanya, the Lord, seeing him, became merciful to him. The Lord, who has the complexion of a golden champak flower, opened his arms and embraced him while expressing great affection. Verse 350. Kalena vrindavan keli varta lupteti tam khyapaitum vishya kripamritena visheshicha devas tatraiva rupam cha sanatanam cha. In the course of time, the transcendental news of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan was almost lost. To enunciate explicitly those transcendental pastimes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatan Goswami with the nectar of his mercy to carry out this work in Vrindavan. Verse 351. Eta kahilun sanatane prabhura prasad yahara shravane chittera khande avasad. I have thus explained the mercy bestowed on Sanatan Goswami by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If one hears this description, all moroseness in the heart will diminish. The internet has gone slow, so let's see if the connection comes back. Okay, I will have to stop here and we'll continue the reading from verse number 352 next time. Thank you for joining. Hare Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.